Podcast is in session. We're here. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday, February 8th here in Los Angeles. We've had some crazy rain lately, and I'd specify it as crazy rain for Los Angeles because it's not really that crazy of rain, if we're being completely honest. Like, yeah, I know there's the hills. We have landslides and shit, which suck, and hopefully all those people aren't losing their shit, but if you're living on the hill, you're rich enough to afford it. Just gonna preface that. But no, like I had like my mom and dad texting and calling like, oh, like how's the rain? Hope it's all good. And it's like, we're used to this. Like we are, if it gets cold here, if it rains here, whatever, we're used to it. So I personally didn't think it was too crazy. If anything, it was nice because people weren't driving on the road, and that was nice. So that was kind of this last week. Oh shit. I opened up the podcast without my little signature. So without further ado, welcome back to episode 28 of the Mackin Show. Cue some claps that aren't there with me being the only person in the studio. But yeah, before I go back to that, 28 episodes. Been in here 28 times, done podcasts a couple different places. And I want to do more out of the studio podcast too, and that'll definitely probably happen with guests, seeming that, well, no, J-Rod and Christian both came here, but I'm guessing for other guests I'll have to go somewhere else to film the podcast because it just makes it easier for everyone. I like that, like switching up the different vibes of the show and shit like that would be really cool. My goal one day is to be able to do like podcasts, like a series at like cool ass fucking nature spots. Like I take this cool person and we're just going to go to like this cliff top of Yosemite and do a podcast up there. Why? Because it's cool. It's a crazy backdrop, super cool, random. But that was my weird little update at the moment. But no, 28 episodes, we're here. I already talked about what day it was and shit, and we're doing good. And back to the rain stuff and weather. But no, it's nice here now. Over the last like 4 days, it was just rainy and shit, which ain't really that bad. Obviously out here grinding. But now work has been good. Going to Vegas on Monday for work after the Super Bowl. So that should be fun. We're going for like 4 days. Vegas is always a fun time. It's easy to get there from LA, and the people we go with, it's always fun to go. And it's gonna be, we go and it's Em and I's anniversary and Valentine's Day. They're 2 days apart, but like might as well. So like it's the same thing on if you have like a birthday 2 days away from Christmas. Like you're probably gonna celebrate both into one. So that's what we do. And we'll be in Vegas for it. So that should be fun. Go out to like a nice dinner, chill out, have a good time. And Vegas with the team is always fun. So a couple of them are gonna be, well, the whole, like everyone on that side is going to be at the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, which it's going to be a good time. Like this is the first Super Bowl in a while that I don't actually have like a clear person where I'm like, I definitely want that team to win, because 49ers and Chiefs, like cool. Chiefs are obviously the new Patriots. And if they like, I'm rooting for the Chiefs just because obviously this podcast knows I'm a big Taylor Swift person. That makes the saga that much more fun and interesting. And she obviously just took home a Grammy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Travis taking home some hardware as well with a Super Bowl trophy and ring would be even extra cool. And I just feel like, I mean, it's their year, man. It really is their year. And by them, I mean Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. It's the Chiefs here too, but I just mean with those two specifically, I mean, they've just both been going crazy, just having a great fucking time, quite literally seizing the hell out of this moment. So now I'd like the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. That would just be fun for the plot, fun for the bit. And yes, that'd be fun. And Taylor Swift is going to her first Super Bowl. And so this is a point that I want to bring up, that people actually mad that Taylor's going to the games and she gets coverage and whatnot are fucking morons. Because why do you care? Like, simply, why do you care? Like, unless you just like don't like that a woman is getting some attention there or what the case is, it makes no sense to be mad. The one thing I do find funny is certain diehard NFL fans have came up with this kind of like, not script, but this go-to reason to be mad where they're just like, God damn it, Taylor Swift is a rookie and she's already made it to the Super Bowl in her first year. I've been waiting X amount of years and I've never been to a Super Bowl. I honestly think that's a funny ass take, because that's like playing with it. And it's true, like where Taylor Swift just starts to become a fan in the Chiefs organization, etc. Boom, first year, going to the Super Bowl. And you got people like fucking Browns fans or Jaguars fans or Lions fans, and it's just like, not your year, and you all have been rooting for them for decades, and you're still not there. So I find that to be a funny take. But she's going to be in her first Super Bowl rookie season. She might be rookie of the year in fandom. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I'd like the Chiefs to win. Obviously, huge fucking shout out to Taylor Swift. This podcast knows my Swiftie energy. We'll talk about Grammy stuff in a little bit too. But on the other end, it's kind of like a little wifey Super Bowl too, if you think about it, right? Because like on the other end, you got the 49ers. You got obviously Christian McCaffrey, Olivia Culpo, always doing some fun shit. Obviously, you see them. But I'm going to botch it, and I don't want to botch it. Boom, Juszczyk. You got Kyle Juszczyk and Kristen Juszczyk that just went nuts when the Chiefs played. It wasn't the Ravens. I forget who they played before the Ravens. I can't think that far back. But when Taylor came with that puffer on, and everyone was like, who made it? And it was the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, for the 49ers' wife, Kristen Juszczyk. And she just makes these cool-ass designs and puffer jackets and other shit that's all just like NFL emblematic with logos saying whatever it may be. And they're super sick. And after the Taylor Swift shit, it went crazy. She's getting a ton of exposure. She had like Taylor Lautner wearing one, Simone Biles, like all this type of shit. And so she's become her own little bit of a spectacle, which is cool as shit. And Kyle is just like loving it and just here for it, which I mean, he should be. Like if you're already like good ass NFL player and now your wife is just like also killing the shit in the fashion world, but more specifically like for the NFL, like that's so sick. So it's kind of like you get to see the 49ers and like, obviously let's take the team out of it. Like you get to see the 49ers and like they're behind the scenes fun with it with their wifeys. And then you get the Chiefs with theirs, with like you got your Brittany Mahomes, Taylor Swift, all that type of fun shit. And there was the crazy coincidence that Bussin' with the Boys was talking about of how 13 is Taylor Swift's lucky number. And this will be her 13th game going to an NFL game. The Chiefs are the 49ers are the 1 seed and the Chiefs are the 3 seed, another 13. The flight from Tokyo to LA, 13 hours. There was one more 13, but then if you take 100 and subtract 13 from it, what do you get? 87. Travis Kelce's number. So the script is written. Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. That's my pick, 100%. It's going to be a high-scoring Super Bowl in my opinion because just fucking Vegas, baby. Like the heat's up. It's going to be good. So that should be super fun for everyone being able to go watch. It's probably going to be one of the most star-studded Super Bowls ever, I'd imagine. Like, even seeing, like, the prices of the boxes being, like, $2.5 million for a suite, like, is absolutely ridiculous. So, obviously, I mean, royal families from around the world aren't coming to this. So, obviously, like, that money's coming from, like, rich celebrities that are going to pay for that shit. Obviously, you're going to have your Michael Rubin suite that's going to have your Travis Scott's, Chainsmokers, Drake, like, everyone in that caliber. Because, again, his Super Bowl party is just the Fanatics party is like the second coolest party of the year behind Michael Rubin's white party. So that's going to be crazy. I know Formula F1 has a suite and some other shit. So this Super Bowl is going to be fucking ridiculous. It's going to be fun. We're going to a Super Bowl party with some friends. That should be a good time. And we were talking about it because I don't know if I have an answer for it. I have a couple thoughts. But what is the GOAT Super Bowl party snack? Like, you're going to a Super Bowl party or you're hosting one, and, like, you're responsible for just one of the snacks, let's say. what are you bringing? And like my mind went to, I mean, pizza and wings, I'd say is up there in the top 3 of Super Bowl snacks. Buffalo chicken dip is in the top 3 of Super Bowl party snacks. And I'm trying to think of like another like good ass, like some chili. Maybe I'm white trash for that. I don't know. We always just like made a big ass thing of chili at Super Bowl parties I always had at my house. Those would be my top 3 because they're just banging. Or a charcuterie board. One or the other. I'm like, cool, like chips and cheese, awesome. But like I want like a meal while I'm doing this. So I won't. So my top 3 will be pizza, wings, buffalo chicken dip. That's my top 3 things you could bring to a Super Bowl party. Let me know what your top 3 would be, because I know everyone's got some different shit. I'm sure people are going to be like, bring some fucking vegetables and shit. Sure, you can bring vegetables. Fantastic. But no, so Super Bowl should be dope. I just mumbled that fucking sentence. But it'll be dope. It'll be a good time. And I'm saying that like I'm fucking going. But I'll have fun watching it. And yeah, so that's something that's coming up. Shit that just came up that I said we were talking about before was the Grammys. And I've definitely came to the conclusion that the Grammys is definitely the best award show out of any of them, specifically because you also get concerts in between. Like, I'm a big Oscars fan. Obviously, like, I love movies, like, big movie guy over here. But the Grammys, you get, like, obviously people winning awards, but then you get concerts in between, which I thought is always awesome. And no, honestly, like, I thought a lot of the Grammys were, like, good wins. I definitely thought there was some snubs in there where I definitely thought Noah Khan should win Best New Artist because, I mean, his music's just fucking insane and, like, he went crazy. And if not Noah, definitely Ice Spice. Like, they were a huge competing factor for that. Best New Country Artist should have definitely, like, by landslide, been Zach Bryan. Like, 100%. Is someone here? I would just be hearing shit in this office. I don't know if people are here or not, whatever. But Best New Country Artist, 100% Zach Bryan. And he went with Brianna Chicken Fry. They fucking slayed. She didn't put in that good word for Dave with Taylor Swift, but I feel like that's written in the sand that I could totally see, and this is just me manifesting it, Zach Bryan doing a song with Taylor Swift. Whoa. I'm calling it now. I really am. But I could definitely see that shit. And yeah, Brianna Chicken Fry and Zach Bryan fucking slayed it. There are people here. I have no idea who's here. I didn't even think anybody was in town. We're just going to keep doing the podcast until someone fucking rolls in here and shit. But no, the Grammys were super dope. I'm trying to think if there are any more snubs. Like, Taylor Swift, like, if you thought Taylor Swift wasn't going to win Album of the Year, crazy. And because it's Taylor Swift. She released Midnight. Obviously, that was going to win Album of the Year. I finally know the difference between what a song is and a record, because Meryl Streep, who I had no idea had any relation to Mark Ronson. It's so funny when you see celebrities like that have relations. Like now that like Emily Blunt's, I want to say stepdad or real dad. Wow. No. Fuck, I forgot his name. Hold up. Nope. Nope. Bear with me. Lovely Bones cast. Now I gotta. Stanley Tucci. I know it was a Tucci, but like he's her dad. But anywho, Meryl Streep was up there and she was like poking fun at it, and she was just like, "Well, for this is a song." Mark Ronson was like, "No, this is a record. It's different." Where song is obviously like for whoever sung the song and the song writing behind it. Record is everything in between, from like person who sung it, the production, everything. And so I finally got to learn that shit, which I haven't been like needing to know it, but it was cool to finally learn the fucking difference between the two. Because I mean, like, come on, like a song and a record, kind of the same shit, but just a different award. Yeah, I'm sipping on a Stanley. And I was so hyped that Miley Cyrus won 2 Grammys, which first off, I did not know Miley Cyrus never had Grammys. Now, I haven't watched every single Grammys like that, like in the last 15 years, so I would have no idea. But I would have sworn she would have at least had 1 Grammy, like even if it wasn't for her song, something she was featured on, songwriter, like whatever it may be, no Grammys. That's crazy to me. I would have figured she absolutely had 1 Grammy, but it was so cool because she was so like hype and happy, and even in her when she performed Flowers on stage, she was like, and I just wanted to say, I just want a great, like it was so cool. And we were talking about it where there's certain people who have a great voice, aren't that good on stage, are great on stage, doesn't have the best voice, and then there's some people who have both. And Miley Cyrus definitely has both, where ridiculous voice, she also can like hype up a crowd and get people going and like have fun on stage. So I thought that was sick. Olivia Rodrigo's performance was great, and obviously like she fucking kills it. I'm very surprised she didn't win anything. Like very, very surprised. Even I'm not saying song or album of the year, but like something, because like Guts was a huge album and like the songwriting's pretty great. So I was surprised Olivia Rodrigo didn't win anything, but there were so many good songs that I didn't even realize released. I definitely think Travis Scott got snubbed. I know I'm biased. This podcast knows I'm a huge Travis Scott fan, but I definitely think he got snubbed for at least either like hip hop song or, I mean, Utopia. Like, I know I'm going to sound so young when I say this, but like, who the fuck is Killer Mike? Like, I quite literally have never heard of Killer Mike. Am I going to have to go listen to some of his music now? Obviously. Have I ever heard of Killer Mike? No. And Utopia was fucking huge. So thought he got snubbed, but his performance was so hilarious because don't get me wrong, Joe Budden is a fucking he's a huge hater, which I can respect certain types of hate, not that. Like, he's just like, he hates on everything that's just like not fucking, yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony, bro. Like shit like that. But he did have a point where he's like, yeah, Travis Scott and the Grammys crowd just aren't the same because, again, Travis Scott sells out every single stadium he goes to. And I'm not talking about venue, stadium. Like, he's doing arena tours and sells them out, goes crazy because, like, that specific fan base knows what they want. It's extremely high energy, super chaotic, like, great fucking music, but it's just like you're jumping, having a good time and whatnot. The Grammys, it's not like there's a shit ton of people meshed together where you can like do that. Everyone's like sitting at a table, and you have Trav up there performing Fiend, which like probably second after Thank God, second favorite song on the album. But that song is like, I listen to that song when I work out to go running and like just go fucking crazy. Like that's like, and performing that at the Grammys and then in Travis Scott style, just like having a stack of fucking chairs to just break made my night. It was just like, that's the chaotic energy the Grammys needed. It was so funny where my mom texted me after, she's like, oh my God, oh, like, what was he doing? And I'm just like, you have to understand his style, like, before being like, oh, this dude's fucking crazy. It's like, nah, this is like what he does. So I thought that was fucking awesome. And then the Jay-Z speech was great. It was Hove. Like, I know a lot of people might have it come off like, oh my God, why would he do that? Like, he was just being Hove. And like he said, he's like, I'm nervous when I tell the truth. Like, sticking up for his woman. And he's like, yeah, like, how can you have the most Grammys quite literally ever? Like, the more Grammys than anyone who's ever lived, and you've never won Album of the Year. That truthfully is ridiculous. I don't know which album, because like, obviously I love Beyonce, know her music, but I'm not like a stan, so I don't know like every album she's put out. But those two things don't add up. And when he's just like, but a lot of y'all, some of y'all don't even belong in the category. It's just like, that's kind of one of those moments where it's just like, he's not wrong though. Like, and so he was just getting up there talking to shit, and it's fucking Jay-Z. Like, what are you gonna say to Jay-Z? Like, and he's always kind of been level-headed with that shit. So I thought that was a great speech, and he's Hove. All I gotta say. But no, the Grammys were super dope. It was fun watching that. Another thing, we just finished it, and I know I talked about Netflix being the GOAT of documentaries last episode, but it just rains even more, where we just finished Griselda, and holy shit, amazing documentary. If you have not watched Griselda, that has to be the first thing you start to go watch. And I mean, first off, Sofia Vergara. Like, do I have to say anything more than Sofia Vergara? And no, I don't, because she's a great actress anyways, but Sofia Vergara. Second off, she's just like played the role so good, because again, you're used to her in Modern Family and shit like that, but now she's got to play this ruthless ass woman who was a queen pin of cocaine in Miami, and she played it amazingly. And it was kind of funny, and no disrespect, obviously she was a goat at doing the stuff, so no disrespect, but I was looking at old pictures of Griselda Blanco, and I was just like, thought she'd at least be a little hot. Like, you have Sofia Vergara portraying you, one of the most attractive Latina women of all time. All time. Not like, oh, she's so pretty right. All time. And I figured Griselda had like a little bit of like, oh, okay, I see it. Not at all. And again, like, obviously I know how that's how TV shows and movies work out. Doesn't matter. And I wouldn't have wanted anybody else to play it, because she played it great. I did not know like so much shit about Griselda Blanco. I just knew like what she did. Obviously, I didn't know like the inner details of everything. And that woman was fucking bad ass. Didn't give a fuck. Like, killed people, like crossed people, like went up toe to toe with like, again, I watched Narcos years ago, so I already knew like the whole Colombian, somewhat Miami, but Colombian aspect of this. So when they were mentioning certain names in Griselda, that like she went and like strong armed them and shit, I was like, what the fuck? Like, these are like second biggest traffickers in fucking Colombia at this point. We're talking like like people like that. I was like, Jesus Christ, this woman was badass. So no, that documentary is great. Or biopic documentary, I don't know what but series, fucking great. Definitely go give that a watch. And obviously furthers my point that Netflix is just the king at just documentaries, biopics, and everything else. So shout out fucking Netflix for that. Oh my god. Side note, and I didn't even mention it during Grammy talk, which is crazy, but Taylor Swift announces her new album. Fuck yeah. And it's an actually new album. It's not a Taylor's version album. It's a new album. So, and we weren't expecting that at all, because like everyone expected, obviously speculated their shit. Oh, she's got the watch on her neck. She's wearing black and white. Definitely going to be 1989. All that type of shit. So when she won her award, she's like, and I just got to say one more thing to you guys. But then she came out with, I was going to say Dead Poet Society, but it's a fucking movie. But her new album, which is all new music. Fucking sick. Swifties are fucking hype right now. I'm hype. Like, let's fucking go. So I think that's going to be dope. What a perfect time to, like, announce a new album too, the same night you made history. Like, winning for your fourth best album of the year, which, mind you, no one in history has ever done before. So Taylor Swift just keeps fucking dominating it. Side note too, one more last bit of Grammys talk. Dua Lipa quite literally can do no wrong. There's nothing in the world Dua Lipa can do wrong. That woman fucking slays everything she does. I'm obviously like, I'm a Swiftie obviously, but like what Swifties are for Taylor, I'm Dua Lipa queen. Absolute queen shit. There's nothing that woman can do wrong. That we were talking about last episode too, that I'm going to be delusional, that I would love to interview Dua Lipa one day. Maybe like we could go get some crumpets and fucking tea or shit that English people do. I mean, trust me, I know she's Albanian, I want to say Albanian. So I know she's not like born in London, but she got a British accent, which is pretty awesome. Anywho, Dua Lipa quite literally can do no wrong. Like, it was insane. Her performance, crazy. Like, just bow down to Dua Lipa. She's fucking sick. So that's all I had to say on that. I just always need to give my flowers to Dua Lipa, because I fucking love you, Dua Lipa. I'm just saying. it just randomly dropped out of nowhere. Like, I know that they like said something about it months and months ago, but randomly dropped out of nowhere that like Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr. are like, you know, blossoming into working on a relationship or some shit like that. And I saw that, I was just like, what? I was like, okay, but what? Like, I was like, cool. Like, I forget what the headline. I need to read exactly what it was, because just the way they worded it. It'd be one thing if like they're like, oh, these two are reported dating. I'd be like, okay, yeah. Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr. are reportedly getting serious and are working on next steps towards a relationship. Like, that's just such a weird headline. Like, just keep it to the usual people seen hanging out, looking like they're more serious. Boom, they're together. Like, personally, like, they're getting serious and are working on next steps towards a relationship. It's just such a fucking weird way to word things. But I'm here for that relationship, honestly. Like, Kim definitely just needs to go back to dating athletes. Like, leave the entertainment world alone. You don't need actors. You don't need singers, music, nothing like that. Just go back to athletes. They're easy. They're way more easily manageable than that because they're doing their sport like 80% of the time. And OBJ is just fucking fly. All there is to him. Like, OBJ's dope. Like, I think that would be a fire-ass relationship. So I'm here for that one. I think that would be cool. But I just thought that was like a funny way to word it, that they're working on the relationship. But I mean, shit, what a great addition to the already royal family of the Kardashians. This is start dating Odell Beckham Jr. Kendall. Shit, I'm trying to think. If Kendall and Jacob Elordi would be such a fucking fire relationship. Just saying. That's just me, like, manifesting how great that would be. Even though Jacob Elordi's kind of in a little bit of hot water right now because he got accused of assault from some guy in Australia. Some radio host, I guess, made a joke about the bathwater scene in Saltburn. I guess Jacob Elordi just choked him, which kind of bad boy image. Like, kind of fuck with it. Like, shout out Jacob Elordi. I'm not saying you should go around and choke people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, like, go around and assault people. But, like, man was standing on business. He was like, yo, stop joking about that. I'm over it. Stop. I'm going to stand on my business. I'm going to choke you. Like, so I thought that was funny. That'd be cool for Kendall to wife up Jacob Elordi next. But obviously he's still with Olivia Jade. But anywho, Kim K and OBJ, kind of funny. Be a fire relationship. And what took the fucking internet by storm the last 2 days was our very own Drizzy Drake's leak. And I wish I had someone to talk about this with that didn't see it, because that would just be fucking hilarious. Yeah, and I don't give a shit. Yeah, like, I saw it. Whatever. Like, fuck. And no, but I just kept seeing Drake leak, and I was like, no way. And like, when you go on a trending thing, you can type in like a trending thing and it said Drake leak, and I was scrolling, I was oh boy. And it showed that, like, the universe really does give certain people everything. Talent, good looks, money, creativity, funny, packing is all I'll say. Just straight fucking packing. And that's as far as I'll deep dive into the Drake leak, because big Drizzy fan over here. But all I got to say, bro, is just like, nice. Like, nice shit. And yeah, that was fucking crazy, and it took the world by fucking storm. He still hasn't commented on it yet, but like, it was Drake. Obviously Drake. He was on his pride. He was on air Drake. And it is what it is. Honestly, you could have worse things leaked about you. That's not the only thing people are saying about this leak are compliments. So at least that I've seen on Twitter. So that's all I'm going to say is just Drake. Nice. So yeah, Drake. Because usually when you see Drake leak, you think a song leaked. And you never thought that. And obviously that's what it was. But shout out Jersey, man. Also in music, fucking Universal Music pulled all of their music off of TikTok in a crazy move that happened earlier this week, which is kind of crazy because, like, in that situation, I don't know who's being greedy, right? Because on one hand, you have TikTok, who, like, doesn't really pay anyone anything anyways, really ever, and is, like, a multi-billion-dollar app. And so clearly it's like, okay, like, it's not like you have all these crazy expenses and it's just like, dude, we don't have, like, that much. Like, say, what would happen if this creator made whatever. Like, they clearly got money to spend. But then you have Universal Music, which is also, like, one of the richest music labels of all time. Basically almost endless money. But they want more money from TikTok. But then everyone's like, all right, well, that's going to hurt their artist streams. And Universal was just like, well, we want more money for our artists, which, if we're being honest, Universal saying that is we want more money for ourselves. Because, like, once you get to that level of, like, executive at Universal, like, music, you're not sitting here crying, like, I want more money for my artists. It's just like, you know damn well you want more art money for your artist for you. Like, that's absolutely what it is. Like, stop fucking trying to be the voice of reason with, like, well, I want more money for these artists deserve more money. Like, yeah, they do, but, like, you're only saying that because you get a piece of that. So, like, you want more money. So it's just like Universal, TikTok, both want more money. And again, smaller artists on Universal, sure, this is going to fuck them over. Do I think The Weeknd, Drake, Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Bad Bunny, yeah, do I think any of their revenue is going to be that much affected by getting taken off TikTok? No, I don't, because a lot of their A-list roster, the second something drops, that's Billboard's number one thing for at least until their next artist drops something, because they have the biggest artists in the world. So it might affect, like, yeah, the amount of times it's streamed. It might affect one little slice of their revenue, but them not being on TikTok is not going to affect their tour sales, is not going to affect the amount of people downloading it on Spotify and Apple. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I think Universal, knowing that, they're still going to hold out, and one of them just has to stop being fucking petty, because that's what it comes down to. Like, Universal and TikTok both being petty as shit, both multi-billion-dollar companies being like, well, we want a little bit more. Like, that 500-foot yacht, we want it to be 700 feet. We want that Island of the Seas or whatever the fuck that big cruise ship is called. But nah, both of them are being fucking babies about it. Like, just TikTok, pay them more money, and Universal just, like, actually give that money to the artists. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But that was crazy in music. Also in music, that I've always known she's been a hater, but, like, I just don't think Nicki Minaj is a good person. Like, maybe, like, I'm like obviously I'm late to that thought compared to a lot of people, but I just don't think Nicki Minaj is a good person. Like, I get, right, like, Nicki's tired of people talking about her man, yada yada. I don't even know what the fuck happened with that, other than he got convicted of shit back in the day. But for her to, like, go after Meg's mom, make fun of the shooting, call her all this type of shit. And mind you, Nicki goes at every female artist all the time. And just, like, to take it to that extent, I'm just like, you kind of suck. Like, what happened to the pink tape, Nicki? Like, what happened to that? Like, you just got so fucking spiteful, and for what reason? Like, nobody ever, even with Cardi, like, I mean, obviously they have their fans, but, like, no one actually came and was just like, no, like, this person's better at rapping than Nicki. It's like, no, they might be bigger than you at the time, but Nicki, for women in rap, like, she's always had bars. Like, one of the best women rappers ever. But no, after this Megan shit, like, Nicki's just kind of whack. Like, and whatever Bigfoot, whatever that song she dropped, was just so out of pocket. I didn't even listen to it, because I'm just like, this isn't even some good shit. And I don't even remember what the last album she dropped was recently. But nah, Nicki's kind of just like, she's a hater, man. Like, she's just not cool, Nicki. Not cool. Shout out Meg Thee Stallion. But nah, Nicki's just a fucking hater with that. I don't really know why she's so mad. Like, you're ungodly rich. Like, just enjoy your richness. But I don't know. There could be crazy shit going on behind the scenes that literally nobody knows, me included. So, but I'm going to get to that dirt. I want to, now that I've been in LA for a little bit, I want to start knowing what goes on behind the scenes and certain things. And I'm probably going to come on here and say some claims that might not be favorable to some people, but I'm going to do my due diligence in making sure that if I get a claim of something that happens behind the scenes, that shit's true, and be able to talk about that shit in a funny way, of course. Obviously, a funny way. But yeah, Nicki's got to stop hating. Other people that got to stop hating are just sensitive as fucking people about this SNL thing. So, another thing, it was all over social media, but the dog, a.k.a. Shane Gillis, is hosting SNL February 24th, which I think is just fucking awesome. Because if you didn't know Shane's, like, come up and how he got known and everything, is that he was like a very, very small comic, and he got hired to be on the cast of SNL. He had a podcast at this point, sort of like this one, but with his co-host Matt. He said some unsavory things on that podcast about a certain group of people. And before his episode of SNL even aired, they fired him. Now, that got his name out there more, and he worked with that so well and, like, built such a fucking community. But the community aspect aside, like, Shane is absolutely hilarious. Like, from Gilly and Keeves and him writing it, like, them creating their own fucking sketch comedy that quite literally with 2-minute episodes is funnier than anything SNL has ever done ever since, like, the Will Ferrell, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler era. Like, nothing has been that funny. And his stand-up comedy is just unmatched. And just, like, if you actually listen to his podcast, he's fucking hilarious. Because, like, everyone thinks, like, when Shane will have a little monologue and he's saying some shit, it's just, like, Shane is playing a character of someone who who says that shit and thinks that person actually thinking that shit is hilarious, which is so true. Where it's just, like, it's almost like the South Park, like, vibe where, like, you know, Shane going up and talking about, you know, Trump per se. Like, Shane's talking about the people who go so hard for Trump, and them and that aura is fucking hilarious, which is so true. And then he says shit from such an outside point of view again, which is hilarious. Where, like, his bit on, like, bro, just let Trump debate. I could not agree more. Politics and shit aside, he's one of the funniest fucking dudes ever. So, like, let him debate. And I just think people misconstrue that when it comes to Shane. And again, like, I'm from upstate New York, and Shane just reminds me of a white trash person from a dive bar that I would chill with. So, big Shane guy. SNL realized, like, damn, we fucked up. We need something. And this dude is at the top of the game right now and absolutely hilarious and, like, actually creative with his comedy. So it's going to kill, which it's going to. I'm super hyped for Shane to be doing SNL. I think that one's going to be sick. Obviously, big Shane guy over here. We're going to go see him February 4th. Or what the fuck? We're going to go see him July. I think it's in July. He does stand up at, what's it called? Up by Griffiths Observatory. Some venue up by Griffiths Observatory. But for the Netflix is a joke specials around LA, that's definitely the number one I want to see. And then Tom Brady's having a roast too, which would be fun. But Shane doing SNL should be a very good time. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. 21 Savage and Aiden Ross. That was kind of funny that got blown, like, super out of proportion. So 21 Savage went on Aiden Ross's stream, and low-key, I feel like Aiden's going through a little bit of a rebrand in a way that I don't mind. And what I mean by that, before I dive into that, is that Aiden Ross was probably in the top, like, 2 or 3 most impressionable creators out there. Meaning, like, if someone with authority or, like, seemingly of authority had an opinion and told Aiden that, like, they should have that opinion too, Aiden would be like, okay, cool. Literally, like, Andrew Tate and fucking shaving her head and not jerking off and all yada yada yada. Like, Aiden just, like, if someone, like, with the vibe of respect came on Aiden's stream and was like, I think this, and this, and you should too, Aiden would be like, oh my God. And he would adopt that into his personality, which I fucking hated. But I think he's changing a little bit, so I'm curious to see where that goes. But he had 21 Savage on his stream. They were doing some type of card game, and Aiden lost like $250K to him. Found out later that those cards were marked and that it was basically like Aiden got scammed. Now, I don't believe that 21 himself marked the cards. And I also don't believe sometimes that any of that money is real. Like, in terms of, obviously the cash is real, but it's all for like the same thing as when YouTube people are like, I'm giving my best friend $1 trillion. And then like they give it back after the video's done. I don't think they actually played for money like that. That's just my opinion. But regardless, I don't think 21 Savage is out here like scamming anybody. Personally, I'm pretty sure he's rich as shit enough to not have to do that. So I just thought that was crazy that 21 got caught up in a weird little like scamming situation with Aiden Ross. But I just thought that was fucking hilarious. And I'm trying to think like what else is new in other worlds. Fucking in the Barstool world. Oh, we're gonna get a hilarious show from Dave Portnoy, Kirk Minahan, and Ryan Whitney, where, so obviously a big thing in the Barstool world over the last couple weeks was that Barstool Radio got canceled, and because they just weren't doing what Barstool Radio is made for, where Barstool Radio was created like, okay, we got some shit like going on within the Barstool world, we're absolutely going to address it. Whether someone had a meltdown, someone's being a dick, someone got yada, yada, yada. Like, we're going to address and we're going to talk shit about it. That's everything Barstool Radio was. And KFC had to leave because he had to focus on his own show. They left it to a girl named Kelly Keegs and Andrew Francis, two other creators at Barstool. And they just weren't really wanting to talk about the tea. Kelly Keegs got caught up in tea, didn't want to talk about it. And Dave was just like, okay, I'm pulling the plug on this immediately. Like, no, you guys don't have it in you. That's not what it's for. And like, again, Dave talks about fucking everything that has to do with his life to a fault of an extent. But then Dave was just like, okay, maybe we do need a show with the craziest of opinions here at Barstool Sports. And what three fucking maniacs better to do it than Ryan Whitney, Dave Portnoy, and Kirk Minahan. And I think it's going to be fucking hilarious. Their first episode, they were already like just toying with Nate, another guy at Barstool, and what's his name? Barstool Tate, this guy from Ohio that was in another part of that controversy. So no, I think that show's going to be really interesting. I definitely think, because those three people are so high up. Kirk somewhat, but like Whitney and Dave, where it's just like they can say anything and get away with it. Like, sure, and obviously when you get to certain levels, it's like someone lower isn't going to be out here talking shit about Big Cat, because it's just like, bro, like, you cannot do that shit. But no, I think that show is going to be awesome. Also, the Chicago Barstool office just seems so fucking awesome. Like, their office seems probably like one of the best offices to work at in the world. This is just going to be like a video application. Like, yo, like Barstool Chicago, if you need a janitor who wants to make janitor content or what the fuck ever, like, what's up? Like, the Chicago office seems so fucking sick. And obviously, like, when you have Big Cat, PFT, like, obviously Hank, Brandon Walker, Jersey Jerry, like, when all of those personalities are in a mix, it's always going to be fun. And it really always is. They have the biggest streams with Jerry After Dark and the Yak. They have the Yak podcast, obviously part of my take. They have Viva TV, where it's just like they do all the cool shit behind the scenes of the Chicago office. And bro, like, it's literally they have a full basketball court, the golf simulator, the shit. Like, it's just fucking crazy. And like, they just have like such a recipe for being able to make that cool shit happen. So Barstool Chicago, if you're ever looking for anything, what's up? Specifically Big Cat. I'll be even the younger Jerry. Like, me and Jerry would fucking vibe crazy. He's from Jersey, I'm from New York. Me and Jerry would definitely be a fucking vibe. Or maybe I think he's from Pittsburgh. Either or. He's from the Northeast. So am I. Me and Jerry would vibe crazy. But just putting it out there. That's a manifestation anyways. But no, so they're fucking killing it. And now I'm excited for the rest of the year, what it's going to bring. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but we are going to get more guests on here. I want to get like more frequent people, just like, because again, I can sit here and talk to a camera forever, but I like talking to people, so I would like to do that more. But, we're going to get fun-ass guests in here. We're going to do some more cool shit. I promise you. I know the last, 3-4 episodes have been no guests. That's going to change. It's just, it's not as easy trying to get cool people when, it's not like I'm hanging around, celebrities all the time. So it's it takes some time to make a relationship, reach out, schedule some shit. I'm trying. Trust me. But no, that's all going to come. And, episode 28, I thought that was awesome. And hype for the Super Bowl. But until next time, peace.